I have had somewhat of a strange fascination with survival horror games. I know for a fact I am not alone on this notion. Why else would there be so many games of this type? The opposite also exists. There are many people out there who simply don't like these kinds of games, or simply cannot handle it. But why is that? With this video today, I want to provide my own understanding and experience with this genre. Perhaps by discussing and talking about it, we can have a better understanding as to why people love and or hate survival horror games. Hello, my name is Sully. Please allow me to share my first abysmal experience with this famous genre. When I was no more than 11 years old, my jerk of a cousin decided to let me play Resident Evil 2 for the PS1. He told me, "Oh yeah, you're just going to be fighting zombies in this." Now, I come from old school first-person shooters, such as Doom and Quake. So, zombies did not scare me in the slightest. Little did I know, I was about to learn why they should be feared. My cousin put in the Leon disc and selected Scenario A. Once I got through the somewhat corny cutscene, I was finally playing. Now, everyone knows that at the start of the game, whether you are playing as Leon or Claire, you need to run. I did not do that. I watched in horror as the great Leon S. Candy was eaten alive in the one of many graphic death scenes in the game. My cousin sat there and laughed, and got a kick out of my misery. While I sat there with a wide-eyed horror-struck face, being scarred for life. I didn't touch another survival horror game till I was 16 or 17 years old. Around that time, Resident Evil 5 was right around the corner, and the Resident Evil 1 remake came out. The remake piqued my interest the most. I knew that RE4 and 5 were more about action and not so much horror, and I was looking for something that was new, a new challenge, so to speak. Something that was, different than Halo or Gears of War, with their hardest difficulties kicked on. So I tried the RE1 remake. I selected Chris Redfield, started my journey. In Resident Evil 1, once again, everyone knows, run away from the first zombie. And once again, I did not do that. I watched as my knife so much as tickled the zombie as he proceeded to rip my throat out. Now, by this age, I knew when a game was basically telling you, you're playing this wrong. So I restarted. And this time, once I encountered the zombie, I went back the way I came. And there it was, my trusty handgun. I promptly went back and exacted my vengeance upon the walking corpse with much delight. This was the start of many horrifying and yet thrilling encounters. Some I got through on my first try, some I had to come back and get more creative with. This continued until I beat the game. I was rewarded with awesome cutscenes throughout and special bonuses for getting better scores. There was just something so satisfying about coming back to an area and or monster which gave you a real run for your money and shoving a rocket right down their throat. It was this feeling that drove me to play through other titles of this genre and experience their novel-like tales. Now, we know what drives me, and possibly other people, into playing these games, but the question still lies as to why others don't like this genre. This is probably because it combines two, if not the most stressful types of entertainment: survival and horror. Let's define these. Survival: the state or fact of continuing to live or exist, typically in spite of an accident, ordeal, or difficult circumstances. Horror: an intense feeling of fear, shock, or disgust. In real life, nobody wants to be subjected to either one of these definitions, let alone both of them. In a virtual setting, like in video games or movies, this is different. But it does immerse you in a way that makes you feel emotionally invested, which is why it affects us. So it is totally fair to say that someone or anyone do not want to feel that tension, even in a simulated or virtual setting. Would you want to fight a group of ungodly horrors? Would you want to be forced into a situation where you have to count your bullets and keep yourself patched up? In real life, More than likely not. But in a simulator or virtual setting, it's not so bad an idea. We get to stretch those intellectual muscles and experience a world where this does happen, or did happen. But to some, this is just not something they would even want to even imagine. This is proven by how well other genres of games have sold compared to survival horror games. But here's another question for you. Are survival horror games going anywhere? No, they certainly are not. As a matter of fact, they've evolved over the years. Look at Amnesia, Outlast, and dare I say it, Five Nights at Freddy's. They've taken the formula and made it into their own, making it to where the player can't really even fight back while exploring and observing a world that is both atmospheric and terrifying, with plenty of dangers. This makes the player need to think differently when encountering monsters and or enemies. Also, big successes of Resident Evil and other titles like The Evil Within has made the genre still relevant. It is still an acceptable platform by many counts. Like horror movies, survival horror will always be a great source of entertainment to come. Now, if you are like me and were emotionally traumatized by a survival horror game, what did you do next? Did you go back like I did, even though it took me 4 years, and try again? Or have you not even given it a chance since? Perhaps you've never given it a legitimate chance. If your answer to any of these questions is that you will never touch these types of games, I understand why. They are not for everyone. But if you are even the least bit curious, I would like to encourage you to give survival horror another go. It just may surprise you in the best way possible and leave you wanting more. Hey, how's it going? I noticed that you're still here. Well, obviously you liked something about the video, so if you did, leave a like. And if you want to see me talk about more nerd stuff, then hit subscribe. Now my Twitch name is right there, so if you want to go ahead and see me actually, play the games and react to them appropriately, then go ahead and check me out there. Hopefully I will have some sort of schedule set up when that does start becoming a little bit more consistent. And another side note, all the footage that was captured for this video was from me on my own PS4. Anyways, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you there on Twitch.